felt it would give us the best access to the strongest possible group of senior insurance decision makers.
Insurtech Insights is a must-do conference, I think, for the network that is built here.
Hi everyone, my name is Avinash, CEO and co-founder at Skan. In the next 5-10 minutes, I'll tell you the thing that I'm going to tell you now, which is that there is a problem in the way AI is looked at and used by organizations, and we have a solution as to how that AI can be made more meaningful by a simple concept. So the first thing is that we hear so much from OpenAI and Microsoft and so on and so forth that the golden age of AI is here, and yet it seems to the operators here and people who run operations and do things that the gold seems to be locked in someone else's vault. So where there are high valuations of many companies who are creating the shovels for this gold rush, but what about the people who actually are going to use the benefits of AI? And so on one side you have the gold rush, and on the other side you have your own operations where there is the enterprise reality kicking in of legacy IT, of operations, compliance, of infrastructure, of the real world of front, middle, and back office operations that you all run. And finally, the most important thing is the fact that the operations that you run are opaque. So there is a tacit dimension of human knowledge of work as is done in those organizations. And so there is a certain missing link in bringing AI to the ground of where the work is done. And that missing link is enterprise first-party data, which is that how does your operations, through your applications, through your people, does a claim get adjudicated from start to finish? And that is different from another organization. That is different from another organization that may be running another process, right? And so in this enterprise stack, whereas on the top you have business applications and at the bottom you have the AI infrastructure, this missing element of first-party data is the thing that makes the difference. And in the very important point here to note is that the foundational models that you are exposed to from OpenAI and so on and so forth know 99.999% of what is outside in the world, but 0.001% of how you run a certain underwriting process or a certain claims process. Why? Because that knowledge is private to you. It will never make it to the foundational models. So then the only answer is to look at work and how work happens, and that's where Skan AI plays in this opacity of work. So our technology helps you find the gap between work as is designed and the work that actually happens by putting into place a simple technology on the desktops of individuals who are working. Our technology latches onto the screen context of what's happening on the screen and builds the digital twin of work, looking at all of the actions that are taking place in the workforce on the screens. So it's like telemetry of work. It's like a virtual agent sitting with you all the time and observing your work and building out the most detailed and nuanced digital twin of work itself, right? And we use this to build our own transformer, which just like OpenAI knows everything about the world outside, this large action model knows what's happening with that persona in that business process. Right. So we use this to power all of these things around workforce productivity, automation, around risk management and compliance. Why? Because we observe work as it happens, and that allows us to then influence work. By the way, this is a quantum jump, completely quantum jump in the way you manage work. Why? Because now you have the superpower of being able to see work as it happens, where it happens, when it happens. The concept is very simple. Observe work to build a digital twin, use the digital twin to train a model, and let that model either inform you as to what the problems are in terms of operational excellence or towards digital transformation, and at the same time, automate that work. A small graphic of how we are able to observe work. So here on the screen, you can see, for example, every work that is being done is being recorded, and we are filtering on a given case or a given person or a given process, and we are filtering out everything that was done for that case. Now we can say, for example, how much time did it take between two people as they interacted to come to a decision. Or the work was handed over from one person to the other. How much time did the handover take? What is the unit cost of execution? Where did compliance happen, did not happen? All of this is now known because it's part of the AI model that is understanding work, not at one desktop, but at all desktops. And so if you look at a typical claims adjuster, just an example, and you could apply this to any business process, by the way. But if you look at their life cycle of the various things that they do, you can now replicate that in terms of how they do it by simply observing their work and have an AI, having learned that work, to execute it automatically for you. And this is our ultimate vision, that having learned work, can we then augment people like interns to them? So this AI is like an intern to the person who runs, but now they can have 10 interns. So one person in that sense, only when an exception occurs, need to step in, but otherwise, rest of the things that have been learned by observing work is now automatically done. If you forget everything about this presentation, let's remember just one thing, that so long as you observe work and you build a model based on that observation, that is the true replica of the combined knowledge of your team. You can bring it into an AI model, and you can use that either to inform decisions as to how to change work or to do that work directly. Thank you again. By the way, before I close, I want to tell you that we're based in Menlo Park, California, so typical Silicon Valley startup. But our last 5 years that we've spent, we worked with the who's who of the industry, both in insurance and banking. And you can imagine the reason why we work in these two sectors, because in these two sectors, the large number of people, very opaque application ecosystem, and everything to gain or lose by running the processes in a certain way. A shout out to my customer from Allianz Insurance, and they will raise a hand. And they have deployed our technology here in the motor claims of Allianz UK. We have a number of other customers in Europe as well. Look forward to seeing you at our booth at B39. Thank you again.